Good morning, everyone. It is October 7th, 2018. I'm here at DC Clothesline. 5 reasons why drug testing cops and politicians is not such a bad idea. And one of the reasons I can think of off the top of my head is if I were to go to, say, apply for a job to be a garbage man. They're going to do a background check on you, and they're going to send you for a drug test to make sure, for whatever reason, that you're not a felon or on drugs of any kind. So, why shouldn't police and elected officials be held to the same standard? But last month, Louisiana Congressman Republican Clay Higgins, or Representative Clay Higgins, Republican, proposed a piece of legislation that would require all members of government to take and pay for their own drug tests. And I like the Free Thought Project. I feel like anyone should be able to ingest any substance without the state getting involved or knowing. And if there is an exception to this, it would be the state who kidnaps, cages, and kills people for possessing and using these very substances. So the number one reason they give is first and foremost reason government employees, agents, and politicians should be drug tested is that all these folks will throw citizens in cages for the very same behavior. It's supposed to be, law is supposed to be equally applied to everybody, regardless of your status in your society, or your town, or your state, whatever you want to call it, right? But it's not. It's not equally applied. I can give you one example from here locally where a bunch of sheriff's deputies were buying pain pills off of a guy, and they racked up quite a debt with them. Yeah? And what was their solution to their problem? Well, they get a search warrant. Some crooked judge signs off on it. And they go to the man's house and they kill him. Easy to take care of, right? If you're a member of a state, city, or federal government. Number 2 reason they give. Oftentimes, politicians caught using drugs are only caught after doing something else related to their drug use. Free Thought Project has reported on police officers stealing money from people to finance their opiate addiction, or politicians using the drug war to cover up their own crimes. And we all know that man who exposed the CIA for bringing in, and military, and local police departments for bringing in and putting the drugs on the street. It's like a cycle. They bring them in, they make money off that end, and then they make money off the legal repercussions people face. I call that bullshit. Number 3. While police have been caught time and time again getting addicted to the drugs they take off the streets, and that's in, quotes, there is another reason that police officers in particular should be drug tested. Steroids. Now, I've been prescribed steroids many times, and I probably should take them so I gain some kind of weight. I've openly admitted that I am very, very neglectful to myself, and steroids make you really hungry. But people on certain types of steroids are very fucking dangerous. I just saw a video like last week of a bodybuilder who flew off into a roid rage, and he beat his old lady. I mean, you have cops out there on these things. You wonder why so many fucking people are getting killed by them. I'm going to hit this paragraph because, well, what they say is true. It is certainly the belief of the Free Thought Project that anyone should be able to put anything into their own body without persecution of the state. However, police officers using anabolic steroids, which include a host of aggressive side effects, is an extremely bad idea. And it is. It is a very bad idea to give these people any kind of authority, because if you question that authority, you're liable to end up either battered or dead. And that's why they should really be drug tested for steroids. There's no question that many police officers use performance-enhancing drugs. In fact, the problem of police steroid use became so bad in 2004 the DEA intervened to warn of the possible psychological disturbances of roid-raging cops. So even the DEA came out and said this is not a good idea. Some of the symptoms of steroid use: mood swings, including manic-like symptoms leading to violence; impaired judgment stemming from the feelings of invincibility; depression; nervousness; extreme irritability; delusions; hostility; and aggression. Eventually, a few years later, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, made up of 16,000 members worldwide, set a standard that calls upon state and local law enforcement entities to establish a model policy prohibiting the use of illegally obtained steroids by officers. Please allow me to point out that there's been a handful of officers over the past 5 years that have been caught selling these steroids to other officers. Number 4, and this is really the main reason right here, in my opinion. Okay? The hypocrisy. Why is it okay for politicians, judges, cops, drug treatment center employees, hospital staff, everybody else but the general public, and these, when I tell you the general public, I mean people who are not connected to the state in any way, employment-wise. Okay? The general public don't get to decide what they are able to put in their body. Why should these people be able to make these decisions for themselves? We can't. On a regular basis, we hear politicians, cops, and their supporters constantly calling for drug testing welfare recipients, veterans, and others. All the while, politicians themselves sit back freely without worry that someone will find out about their Xanax addiction or cocaine habit. And again, I'm not an anti-drug person. I believe you should be able to use whatever substance you want without repercussion, except for the obvious physical ones that come along with cocaine use, you know, like a bloody nose. And if you snort too much of it, your cartilage up there eventually deteriorates, but it's not the job of a government to protect an individual from themselves. That would fall on the family. Okay? Highlighting this point is the fact that the DEA themselves has been caught repeatedly engaging in parties at which prostitutes and cocaine are not just taking place in the back rooms, but they are the very theme of that party. The hypocrisy of it is stunning. It's stunning because a guy like me, who is actually prescribed painkillers because of a broken ankle, because of bad teeth, and had them when the cops decided to come and raid my home, even though they're sitting next to the bottle with my name on it, I still get charged with distributing them, and I never ever sold them or gave them to anybody. But these guys, they can inject steroids, they can snort cocaine. Hell, I watched the sheriff's deputy at the county jail snort Xanaxes right off the desk in front of all of the inmates. He still has a job. Number 5. If government employees got a taste of their own medicine, maybe it will open their eyes to the horror and hypocrisy of the war on drugs. Now, I made a pretty personal video earlier. I exposed a great deal of myself in that video. There's some details that I left out, like losing my child for a couple of months because of this bullshit. The shit we had to do to get her back. We got our child back in record time, and yet I still feel an enormous amount of guilt. I still feel betrayed and cheated. Now, if drugs were legal, this would be a moot point. All the corruption associated with being able to break the drug laws are tasked with enforcing disappears overnight. The CIA would lose its ability to traffic in cocaine to finance proxy wars in sovereign nations. Cops stealing from evidence lockers and becoming drug kingpins would cease to exist. The prison industrial complex, which feeds off of other people's addictions, would be brought to its knees. And people who need help instead of jail would be able to do so without fear of being kidnapped, caged, or killed. And let me add, having their children snatched away from them. A lot of people would ask, do I hate this country? And if I were to be honest with you, I would have to say yes, I do. And it is for all of these reasons that are in this article that I do hate this country. I am not proud to be an American. I am horrified at the future that I see developing. Speaking of hypocrisy, recently a Air Force veteran took a knee like Colin Kirkpatrick at a football game, along with the players. Only, he has a good reason to take the knee, and this is a person who found out the hard way that the system that he supported all of his life isn't all that it's cracked up to be, because his son was gunned down by police. I should really tell you something. Don't hate Colin Kirkpatrick don't hate these people, because this country is fucked up, and the people in it are becoming more fucked up by the day. And it's very, very difficult to maintain your sanity, your overall well-being in such a place. Now, I wish I could string together sentences as articulately as, say, Jordan Peterson, or I don't know, I'm not going to say Alex Jones, all those other people who are very well spoken and don't have to pause for a moment to think about what they're going to say. But I say what I say, and I mean what I say, and I am not proud to be an American. And if I were traveling overseas, I would never, ever tell anybody that I am an American. I would go out of my way to hide that fact, if I could. Anyway, thought I'd share these reasons with you. I hope you all have a good day. Kill the state before the state kills you.